Welcome to Passioneer Magazine, the podcast, where you'll hear inspirational stories, encouraging news, and in-depth interviews with authors, influencers, CEOs, and thought leaders. Passioneer Magazine, the podcast. Bold ideas, brave pursuits, boundless inspiration. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Passioneer Magazine, the podcast. As you can see, my guest today is Lily Streams-Smith, and I'm so excited to talk to her today about her success journey. Hello, Lily. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Absolutely. Now, I know that with every person that I have ever had the opportunity of interviewing, you're on the show for a reason because you've done something awesome, amazing. You've been inspiring, encouraging. You've done something bold, and that's why you're here. But I also have to realize that there may be someone who this is the first time they're being introduced to you. So my very first question of every guest is, tell me just a little bit about yourself. What makes you you?
I love that question. So I am a self-love coach. That is kind of my career choice. But in terms of what makes me me, I think I've always been very focused on helping other people and really feeling like that's my life's purpose, that's my calling. So yeah, I've always wanted to help people, and my own mental health struggles kind of led me down the path. I think they really steered me in that direction. So I guess what makes me me is just being able to have that lens of I've walked the walk and I understand how that feels, and then being able to turn that pain into my purpose of helping other women to kind of transform their relationship with themselves as well. So yeah, there's a little bit about me.
Absolutely. I find that when we ask that question of someone, there's always that catalyst. There's always a something that has happened in someone's life that is really the nudge or the push that sends them in that direction. We find that there is that appreciation there is that, again, that's something that pushes us and says, hey, I like how you said it. I went through a something. Let me show you how not to have to go through that something so that you can be wiser because of my experiences. I love that. Love that. Now, when you were a child, did you have a particular career path in your mind's eye? Did you think that you were going to be a little girl? Sometimes I'm going to be a ballerina, or, I want to be a teacher. Did you have a similar experience?
Yeah, it's so interesting that you said that, because actually, yeah, dancer was it was definitely my dream as a child. I actually did start to kind of pursue going down that avenue. I went to a performing arts school to do that full time when I was 16. But yeah, I think I quickly realized, actually, when I focused on myself and what was true for me, that wouldn't necessarily actually be what I had portrayed it to be in my childhood, if that makes sense. So the reality of the situation was going to be very different to how I had visualized it and dreamt about it growing up. But yeah, I wanted to be a dancer.
Yeah, yeah. And there's such beauty and grace in dance. So I could see how you would definitely want to go down that path. And I think every little girl loves that costume that we get that has, the little ballerina costume. I took ballet too, so I definitely understand, but understood this was not my long-term goal, like you said, but it was a beautiful experience while you were involved in it. So that is wonderful. But you had an opportunity to actually go to a dance school, and that, I'm sure, is an experience unto itself. That is awesome. Now, what made you decide definitively that this is what I'm going to do? This is where I pivot. So many folks that I talk to, be it that we're here on Passioneer, or I'm interviewing them about their book on another show that I do. there seems to be a moment where they realize I am no longer going to pursue this other thing, but today is the day. Start writing or start pushing the book or make this a part of my life's journey.
So I think what made me decide to become a self-love coach was similar to what we touched on earlier. Like, I've always known that I wanted to help people. I went to university to study psychology. So that's always really fascinated me. And a few years after graduating, I came across coaching for myself. And I went through that whole journey with my own mental health. And it was actually the first thing that I felt really, it created the largest change for me. It really transformed like my internal world and my life. And so after my own experience with coaching, I knew that that was the path that I wanted to go down because it had been so powerful for me.
Mhm.
Um, that I just, yeah, I knew that was the way that I wanted to go. I wanted to help other people the same way that coaching had helped me.
Hmm. Hmm. And I love how I think in today's time we have a little bit more freedom of expression in what we do with our degrees and what we do with our formal education. Before, I think it seemed everyone took a very traditional path, and you knew that if you majored in this, you were going to end up doing one, two, or three. And I think today we've really parlayed that into so much more and put a piece of our personality into that education piece. And now we have some amazing coaches out there where I don't think we would have had that in generations past. So I'm so glad that you were able to make that connection as well. Now, what advice would the person that you are today give the person that you were when you first started your business? Are there any nuggets of wisdom you've picked up along the way that you wish you would have known then?
I think honestly, like my advice would just be just go for it. Like, don't listen to the self-doubt. Don't listen to the thoughts and the narratives that your brain are trying to tell you. Like, they are trying to keep you safe and limit you. And actually, the bravest thing that you can do is just put yourself out there because you're never going to get to where you want to be in life if you stay small and if you don't challenge those thoughts. So it would be, yeah, just go for it. Don't listen to the thoughts in your head. Create new narratives. Because yeah, you're more than capable.
I couldn't agree with you more. I find that it is so many times our own negative self-talk that talks us
Mm.
out of doing so many things. I've had people express that, of course, they've had a few family members or friends that said, "Really, you want to do that, or you want to go that way, or you want to live there?" You know, of course, folks can kind of give us that negative dialogue. But I've also heard so many people say the same as you, that it's our own conversations with ourselves of trying to diminish our dream or make our dream fit into the box as opposed to really stepping out into the fullness and all that it is. I'm so glad that you said that. Now, you provide a coaching environment, a place, a safe place for people to receive coaching. Who would you say is your ideal client, or who do you feel that you help the most?
Mm. I would say I help the most, and kind of my ideal client is the old version of me. So when I say that, I mean the woman who is struggling with a really fierce inner critic, so very negative self-talk, a lot of self-doubt, really listening to the outside world and their expectations, always putting other people first, like a real people pleaser. Um, so that's kind of where I guess a lot of my clients start. And
Mhm.
then the aim is therefore to get them to kind of step into that most like calm, confident, fulfilled, being their own best friend version of themselves.
Oh, I like that, being their own best friend. So you really want to help the person that is at the very beginning stages. So if someone is saying, I don't know where to start, I know that I need to do something, I don't know where to start, that person should definitely reach out to you. But also the person that says, I tried, I started, I didn't get anywhere, but I know I still need to move forward, that person needs to reach out to you as well. Thank you. I love that because we need to remind folks that everyone starts somewhere, you know, and there's always that person who wants to be able or is able to help you get unstuck. So, absolutely. Can you name, Lily, someone who has been a tremendous impact on your life, be it personally, just helping you as an individual, or someone who has helped you when it comes to developing who you are as a coach and a leader?
Absolutely. So, I would say someone who has had a tremendous impact on me would be the healing coach that I actually went to at the beginning of my self-love journey. Her name's Karina Thala, and the reason I think she had such an impact on me is because she was my first proper introduction into inner child healing, which is a modality that is key to my life now and I use with my clients. And it was one of the things that really flipped a switch for me in my brain in terms of the relationship that I have with myself. So
Mhm.
I would say that she has had the largest impact on me, not only in terms of how my relationship with myself and my own life, but also, I build that into my work and my programs now to help clients to do exactly the same.
Mhm. I like that, and thank you for mentioning her name. Should someone else come across, it's like, yes, you've been mentioned, you have been recommended. I love that. Now, would you say that she has also helped you with your faith or with your belief system in how you place the stepping stones in your life? Has she also been able to help with that? I know many people will say there was a quote or there was an event, and not only did they help my personal life, but they helped me have a better sense of who I believed myself to be in the larger scheme of things.
Yeah, I think she definitely helped in terms of like my faith towards like the universe, a higher power,
Mhm.
kind of guiding us all and making things like everything is happening exactly as it's meant to. And that was one of the messages that she kind of really honed in on. And obviously the inner child work as well, like all of those things kind of helped me to have a different relationship with myself. And I think that has a knock-on effect in your relationship with the world and in your relationship with faith as well. Because I think when you have that like home inside yourself and you have that strong relationship with yourself, I think it helps you to therefore have stronger faith in other
Mhm.
things and the fact that you are like guided and supported.
I couldn't agree with you more. I find that as we travel this road called life, that once we are through a certain something, and of course, as they say, hindsight is 2020, we're able to really see how, oh my goodness, if I had not gone through that particular obstacle or if that particular challenge had not come up, I wouldn't have the knowledge, the wisdom, the resources, the ability to assist someone else as well. And I think that many times we lose our focus on that or we don't realize that. It's just, bad, 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 not realizing that out of that bad can come something that can be beautiful or amazing or that has a positive end result in our lives. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, many times I find that as an organization, an association, a business, a brand starts to get larger, many times some of that passion, that fire and excitement that you had when you first started has a tendency to kind of dampen or wane just a little. How do you keep the fire that you have, the drive that you have? How do you keep that from diminishing?
I love this question. So I would say I'm still kind of nearer the beginning of my journey in terms of the impact that I want to make on the world and on people. But the thing that I do to kind of keep that passion alive is just always connecting back to my intention behind, like,
Mhm.
why am I doing this? What am I doing it for? And remembering what a massive transformation like you are supporting, like in terms of helping women to really the coaching helps them transform their relationship with themselves and therefore live their lives in a totally different way. And just remembering that as my intention and remembering that there is a huge knock-on effect of that, because although I might only be, coaching with a certain number of ladies, that has an impact on the people who are in their world as well. So
Mhm.
it's not even just the people that I am directly impacting, it's also the knock-on effect of all of the people that they come into contact with as well. So it's connecting to the bigger picture.
hmm everything we do really does have a ripple effect. The positive and the negative alike, unfortunately, the negative does as well. But I'm so glad that the positive can have an equal force as far as, like you said, you help that one woman and now she's in a better mood. She's in a better mental headspace. She's in a better place to share and take care of her family, to take care of her work, whatever it is that she's doing, because you've helped her move into that better headspace. So I love that you've touched on that. Some folks think that what they do doesn't matter, but it really and truly does. And you never know how the second contact or the third contact can be helped just because you had your coaching session, just because you walked in your purpose. Or flip side, you attended your coaching session, and now not only are you better, but those that you are around, it really does have an effect on community. Now, if there were if there are three things that you absolutely must do in your day-to-day life, Lily, what would you say those three things are that help contribute to your having the best day possible?
So I think first things first, I would say checking in with myself and my own needs and giving myself those things. So maybe that's having a dance to listen to some good music and raise my vibe, or just giving myself the rest that I need. So I would
Yeah.
say number one is checking in with my inner child, with my own needs. Number two, I would say affirmations, hugely. They have helped in terms of my self talk. They've been one of the greatest tools to really shift that narrative in my mind. So, filling myself with lots of positive affirmations to help with positive self talk, which obviously has an impact on your thoughts and your beliefs and your behaviors, and therefore your life. Um, and then finally, I would say being kind. I think doing acts of kindness towards strangers, towards loved ones, I think that absolutely is something that is so fulfilling and helps me to feel like I'm making even more of an impact on the people around me. And I think just that has a really massive knock on effect in terms of how I feel about my life and the connections that I make.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of connections, you are a part of an upcoming book project. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely, I would love to. So, I am part of a book called Emerge with Self Love, and it is a group of women, all who are expressing their own stories with self love. So, it's women from all sorts of different backgrounds, ages, everything. And each of us shares our own story about how self-love has, played a key part in our lives and has helped us transform. So that is kind of the focus of the whole book. My chapter in particular is kind of to do with my own mental health journey and how self-love really changed that for me. And in particular, it's actually from when I was a lot younger. So it kind of covers my teenage years and university, and how society, like, it feeds you certain narratives about how you should be and how you should look and what you should be
Mhm.
doing, and how, ultimately that was a really big contributing factor to my mental health, and how self-love kind of was the antidote to that, right? So how it helped me to listen to what was going on inside of me, and listen to what felt true for me and what I really wanted to do, and block out the outside noise of how I should dress, or the job that I should do.
And you're so right. The societal aspect of it so gives us mixed messages, and especially for our young people, with them trying to figure out how much do I believe, uh, you know, how much do I believe for what my parents have told me, what society is saying, and what I believe to be true about myself. So I'm so glad that you address that part as well, especially for our young ladies that may be reading the book. That is awesome. Now, of course, I want for everyone to be able to reach out to you, but I want to ask one last question of you, and that is, how do you believe that you are using your voice to empower others? What is your ultimate goal on this empowerment journey for yourself?
Hmm. I think in terms of how I use my voice to empower others, I think definitely through my content on Instagram, sharing the content that educates people about how they can empower themselves to, take charge of their own self-love journey, take charge of their life, take charge of their mindset, and to inspire them as well, to show them what is possible for them. Um, and I think also sharing my own opinions and my own experiences and my own story, because ultimately that gives other people the path to do the same. It helps other women to say, yeah, me too, I've experienced that too, and to feel less alone. And yeah, just to know that there's tools out there, there's people that can support, and there's absolutely light at the end of the tunnel, and there's just absolutely incredible things waiting for you if you just tap into those. So I think mainly
Mhm.
using my content through Instagram, and just showing up as my authentic self on there, really.
Mhm. I love how you say there is absolutely light at the end of the tunnel. And so many people doubt that the light is there. They can't see it, and they doubt when people tell them that it really is there. And I am so happy that you have mentioned that, because there's someone listening that needed to be reminded that there absolutely is light at the end of the tunnel. Lily Stream Smith, I have enjoyed my conversation with you today, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing your success journey with our listeners today. Now, before I let you go, though, if someone wants to reach out to you, how do we get in contact with you? What's your website? What's your socials? Let us know.
Yes, so the best way probably to get hold of me, I would usually say, is Instagram. So my Instagram handle is at selflovewithlily, so nice and simple for you. But if you prefer, if you don't have Instagram, then you can get me on email at selflovewithlily@outlook.com.
I love it. Thank you again, Lily, for being a guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to Passioneer Magazine, the podcast.